Mariah Carey was the pop R&B queen of the 1990s. Multi-platinum albums, chart-topping singles, vocal runs that seemed impossible. She seemed untouchable. But by the early 2000s, things changed. A film bombed, an album flopped, the critics circled, and Mariah found herself on the edge of one of the biggest comebacks in modern music. How did she do it? How did she pick herself up, redefine her sound and image, and come back stronger than ever? This is the story of Mariah Carey's reinvention. Mariah Carey was born March 27, 1969, in New York. Raised by a vocal coach mother, she learned early that her voice was special. By the late 80s, she moved to New York City, auditioned, and got signed to Columbia Records. In 1990, she dropped her self-titled album featuring Vision of Love, a song that introduced the world to a 5-octave range, whistle notes, and a signature blend of pop, R&B, and gospel. What followed was a decade of dominance. Albums like Emotions, Music Box, and Daydream each sold in the millions. Her holiday album Merry Christmas in 1994 gave us All I Want for Christmas Is You, one of the biggest enduring songs ever recorded. By the late 90s, she began to change, musically and personally. Albums like Butterfly in 1997 reflected a more independent Mariah, embracing hip-hop influences and stepping away from pop formula her label had built around her. She had everything: the voice, the accolades, the cultural impact. But behind the success, pressure was mounting. Every empire faces turbulence. For Mariah, the early 2000s were the storm. In 2001, she signed a massive $80 million deal with Virgin Records, at the time the biggest recording contract ever. But that same year, everything began to unravel. She released the movie Glitter and its soundtrack in September 2001. The project was meant to mark a transition into film and a new era of music. Instead, it became one of the most infamous flops in pop history. The release came just days after the 9/11 attacks, which understandably overshadowed everything in entertainment. The film underperformed, critics tore it apart, and the soundtrack struggled to connect. On top of that, Mariah faced exhaustion and was hospitalized for what was described as an emotional and physical breakdown. Her erratic media appearances, like the now famous MTV TRL ice cream cart moment, became ammo for late-night jokes. As a result, Virgin Records cut ties, paying her out of her contract. The press portrayed her as unstable and washed up. When her next album, Charm Bracelet, in 2002 failed to ignite, it seemed that the curtain was closing on one of pop's greatest careers. But Mariah Carey wasn't done, not even close. In the aftermath of Glitter, Mariah quietly began rebuilding. In 2003, she collaborated with Busta Rhymes and Flip Mode Squad on I Know What You Want. The song became a hit, reintroducing Mariah to hip-hop audiences and showing that she still had star power, even without a major pop rollout. Behind the scenes, she reconnected with trusted producers like Jermaine Dupri and the Neptunes. She took back creative control, focused on her strengths, and started refining her sound for a new era. By 2004, the landscape had shifted. R&B was blending with hip-hop more than ever. Then came 2005. Mariah released the Emancipation of Mimi, a title symbolizing freedom from label control, from pressure, expectations. Mimi was her personal nickname, and the album felt like her most authentic expression in years. The lead single, It's Like That, announced her return with confidence. The follow-up to that, We Belong Together, changed everything. The song dominated the Billboard Hot 100 for 14 weeks, becoming one of the most successful singles of the 2000s. Its blend of heartbreak, simplicity, and raw vocal delivery reminded everyone what Mariah Carey could do when she was at her best. The music video added another layer of attention. It featured actor Wentworth Miller as Mariah's runaway groom. Months before, he became a global superstar with Prison Break. When Prison Break exploded later that same year, viewers revisited the video, giving We Belong Together even more visibility. The album went multi-platinum, critics praised her return to form, and the world realized Mariah Carey was back. She won 3 Grammy Awards, including Best Contemporary R&B Album, cementing the comeback as one of the greatest in pop music history. In 2008, she released =MC², led by Touch My Body, which became her 18th #1 single, tying her with Elvis Presley and inching closer to the Beatles' all-time record. Her vocal ability, charisma, and self-awareness kept her grounded, while newer generations of artists drew inspiration from her blueprint. She controlled her narrative. From the album title to the visuals, Mariah told the story on her terms. Today, Mariah Carey stands as one of the most accomplished artists in music history.